Hello, welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you for joining me. If you are new, go ahead and subscribe, and for you not to miss any of my videos, hit that little notification bell. For today's video, we are doing a client makeup bridal edition. This is my client Delia. I have worked on her before, and I'm going to recreate the makeup that I did for her wedding. So I didn't show the clip where I cleaned her skin with Bioderma, but that's what I used to clean the client's skin, and then I go in with my Tatcha Dewy cream to moisturize the skin. I always do this on any client, no matter if they're oily or dry or combination. I just make sure that their skin is really prepped and hydrated before we apply some makeup. So I'm applying that with a brush. You can use your fingers, you can use a makeup sponge, however you prefer. Because she has a little bit of hyperpigmentation on the under eyes, I am using the LA Girl Orange concealer, and this is basically going to color correct that. So I'm putting that with a brush and putting that on the lid as well. So I like to go ahead and use concealer. This is the Milani Conceal Perfect concealer that I actually really like. It's a very thin formula, but it has coverage, which is why I really like it, and I have it in my kit. But I'm placing that with a brush, and then you'll see me go in with a sponge to kind of diffuse any excess product, and it can seep into the skin more. Next, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills in collaboration with Jackie Aina. I'm taking the shade called Credit and placing that right onto the crease color. And then I use the shade called Zam and place that on the first half of the eyelid, and then I went in with the shade called Soleil. The mixture of both of them made it really nice gold color with a little bit of shimmer in it. The Zam really went like popped out more with the Soleil, in conjunction together, so we created this little goldy effect kind of look. It looked really, really nice against her tone and her eyelid space. Next, we're going to go ahead and line the lash line with the Makeup Geek Immortal Gel Eyeliner. I really like this gel eyeliner for clients because number one, it's in a pot, so you're able to use a spatula to take out and use per client. I highly, highly encourage you to all definitely use a spatula when depotting anything like that. Just going straight from the actual container is cross-contamination, so just a heads up there. But I'm basically gonna line the top lash line with this. I didn't do any wing eyeliner for Delia because I really like her eye shape, and if I like did a little bit of a wing, it's gonna kind of like make her eyes more downturned. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the foundation. I love to use the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue foundation. She is in the shade 119. This is a very, very matte formula for the client. She likes a matte finish, so she doesn't mind this type of foundation. So as you noticed, I do like to use a brush to apply the foundation and kind of press that into the skin, and then I like to go in with the makeup sponge and kind of pick up any excess of the foundation in case I have put too much. I find that works for my clients, and it makes the foundation last a little bit longer on the skin, kind of like an all-day thing. But I really like to make sure that's really well placed on, because the complexion is what's super important. I mean, everything else is, but especially for like your wedding day. But then I'm going to go in and highlight with, again, the Milani Conceal Perfect. I'm using the shade 125, which is a little bit more lighter than what we used earlier. This is going to brighten up her under eye and kind of make her look more awake. We color corrected earlier and kind of use the same skin tone as her with the concealer, but this is just going to brighten her up a little bit more. Next, we're going to pick up my Makeupforever foundation palette. These are the Cream HDs ones. They're just in a little pot form. But basically, I'm going to cream contour the skin, and I am using, I don't know the name of the shade. I am so sorry. I threw away the packaging and they had all the names on there. But I'm basically going to cream contour her skin. Delia has very nice cheekbones, so I'm basically going to emphasize that a little bit more, placing that a little bit higher than her actual hollow of the cheek, just because I find that like lifts up the cheekbone a little bit more. And I'm using a 3 formation again on the forehead as well as the bottom of the jawline. I personally don't like to bake sometimes on my client because I find that creases on their under eyes. Instead, I like to use a powdered foundation, and for Delia, I'm using the Makeupforever pressed powder in the shade Y375. And I'm placing this normally where you would put a baking kind of technique. but I like to use the powder foundation because it has color. There's not going to be any more flashback, and it's just going to stay put place all day. So I'm putting that right on the bottom of the under eyes and on the bottom of the cream contour and on the forehead, normally where you would get oily. For highlighter, I always use this Dior. This is mainly for my kid now. I've only used it once on myself, but I use this on my clients because I find that it gives them the most beautiful highlight on the cheekbones. So I'm placing that gold shade right on the top of Delia's cheekbones just to give her a very highlighted appearance on the skin, just very almost wet but skin-like. I don't know. The formulation of this is amazing. I got this from Amanda. Her name is Amandizzle on Instagram. I'll go ahead and load up a picture, but she's an amazing makeup artist. She's so inspiring. I follow a lot of her techniques and everything that she recommends, like I try to get, but this is the one thing that I really like the most. Just as highlighting on any client, it looks amazing. So next we're going to use this next 3 steps to sculpt. This is just a contour, and we're going to set that in place because we did use the cream contour. So I really like to use this to bronze up the skin and to set that cream contour down in place. It's a really nice formula. I really like to use this pretty much on all of my clients. I do have the NYX contour palette too, but I find that this one is a little bit more warmer for my clients. So I'm just placing that and moving in an upward direction towards the highlight. And now we're going to move on to the lower lash line. I'm using the same ginger shade and Credit together to give me a little bit more of a cohesive look for the eyes, because you know we can't leave the under eyes looking blank. So we're using the same 2 transition shades on the lower lash line. We're going to move on to the brows, and I'm using the Dip Brow Pomade from ABH. This is in the shade Medium Brown, and as you can tell, Delia has a really nice eyebrow shape and she has a dark color. But the reason why I use Medium Brown is because you're able to build up this pomade, and if I go straight into a black color, it's gonna make her eyebrows look really dark and very angry. We don't want to do that. So I'm basically filling in the arch of the eyebrow and the tail. I don't go in the beginning of the brow because she doesn't like that. So I always have to make sure, like, ask your client what kind of brow they like and make sure that they like it and accommodate to what they want. For lashes, these are the Morphe in the style Malibu, and I'm placing that right on the top of the lash line, as you can tell. And for the lash glue, I use the Kiss lash adhesive. It has aloe in it and it's latex free and formaldehyde free, I believe. I really like that. I enjoy that lash glue and I keep using it. So that's a really good one. And I always ask my client to see if they move their eye around, if the eyelash is poking them, so I can adjust it on the inner corner. So you can tell the lash glue got stuck to the bottom of Delia's eyelash, so I'm just fixing that. We're moving on to the lips now. I am lining Delia's lip with the KKW Nude 2 lip liner. I really enjoy this lip liner. It's pretty smooth on the lips and it doesn't tug on any of the lines that I find. I really enjoy this, and it pretty much complements a lot of skin tones. But I'm just lining the top and bottom lips, and then I use the Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Virgin, which I'm applying on here with a brush. And I topped it off with the gloss called Firebird. So you can see, I'm showing a clip of what these two look like. Again, I will list everything in the bottom description of this video, just in case if I missed anything or if you were curious to find out what I used. I'll go ahead and leave it down below. But I'm basically going to fill in and top it off with all of that gloss. I'm going to clean up some of the little bit excess of the lip liner, and then I'm using that same Dior for the inner corner that we use on the highlight, just to give it a little bit more of a pop. I like to finish off my looks like that on my clients. And then I forgot to add blush, and I realized that at the end, but I always make my clients smile so that way I know where I'm placing the blush, and I put that right on the top of the cheekbones and kind of sweep it outwards in an upward motion. I don't apply too much just because she already has some bronzer. And then I'm gonna finish it off with some Urban Decay setting spray, which is my favorite, and that is it. I use the fan to make sure it's all done. That is the end of this makeup look. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave me in the description box, and I will talk to you later. Bye!